Welcome to the HNL Tonight show with hockey coach, road coach Frenchy directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. And we have to go all the way to Toronto down to find our co-host, Mr. Enartap, on the beautiful, great evening of the Friday night, January 13, 2023. Welcome, Mr. Enartap.
My pleasure, coach. Great to be here all the time.
All the time. We are open the door for you one more time. We're going to have a great content tonight. We talk about the NHL, a little bit the first half, the second half, Montreal Canadiens, a couple news. We're going to give maybe some NHL awards at the halfway. Not saying they're going to win at the end of the year, and the awards like the Norris, the Calder, or the Vezina Trophy. And then we're going to talk about the possibility, what we expect the second half of the season for the around the NHL, what kind of team can step up more, or disappointment, or play a team will maybe never make the playoff, and they're going to have some players going to step up more the second half of the season. Finally, we're going to talk about the trade deadline upcoming. March 3rd is going to be the deadline. I'm going to talk about maybe the top 10 players are going to be on the possibly some trait, and then we're going to go through the NHL draft 2023. The half season is there, so they go the NHL release the players right now for the mock draft 2.0, honestly. And I'm going to talk about some players who possibly have some stock market increasing. Mr. Natap, some people talk about Andrew Kistel with the Montreal Canadiens, pick number 9, and a player like a little bit like Patrick Kane's 5'10", only 165 right now. My only concern about this, we're going to talk about deeper, but Montreal have a lot of young, small players, and I'm not sure if they're pick. I'm going to make a bold prediction a little bit later, but on my Montreal Canadiens for my pick number 9 for the Florida Panthers, I did 10 times, Mr. Natap, I start talking about my Takadon similarly, and Montreal did not go nowhere. They go down. No. Pick Florida one time was 11 now. We dropped the 2, and Montreal most of the time stay at 6 or they drop at 7, Mr. Natap.
Yeah, I did it about 10 times, and twice we got the first round pick, but with Florida's pick.
Oh, yeah? No, I did not move up. One time it was Ottawa Senator jumping from the 10 to 9, time to the top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was my biggest surprise about this, but most of the time was a little bit like last year, 1-2 down, up and down, by one or the two. So we'll be interesting. We're going to definitely continue to talk about this. That we welcome everybody. Thanks to be with us. We decided to do this tonight because we had not many games in NHL. And honestly, our first prediction of the night is not very good, Mr. Natap. We're losing 3-1. The Winnipeg Jets take the lead 3-1 after 40 minutes. Again, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Those Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep. 2 goals in the last minute and 21 seconds, I think it is, or 22 seconds at the end of the second period. Make them. This is because of Luciano. So I'm going to change this tonight. It's not because of you, Mr. Natap. You're amazing. I'm going because it's Luciano. We talk about Pittsburgh tonight at the show. So
finally,
there you go. We have to give credit. If we have to give a vote about someone here, so we're going to give to Mr. Luciano about this. We're going to talk out a little bit about Let's Talk HABS, just barely about them to say what's going on with them. First of all, they're going to be on the New York State this weekend. New York Islanders Saturday night, and they're going to play again the New York Rangers Sunday afternoon. I believe the game is at 5 o'clock, if I can recall it. So 2 big games now. What we know is Jake Allen is still. I did not get the last update. He's still on the possibility he could play game decision right now. The game decisions will be interesting about him. By the way, I want to open the door about Vincent Rover, get released from the hospital. So that's a good news for Vincent Rover. Draft by Montreal Canadiens was straight out of the ice by stretcher a couple of days ago. Still now he's going to be out for a long term, but that's the good news to hear that. Our legs look like it looked a little bit better what we expect. So that's a good news. So we wish the best for Vincent Rover. We don't want anybody to get hurt. So I just want to sharing this with you, Mr. Nathan.
Absolutely, it looked quite nasty, that hit, and the way he fell. It looked like it could be more serious than what it was.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So, and a lot of team right now are back schedule wise, like the OHL, WHL, and QM are play all the weekend now. The NC back now on the schedule, so a lot of thing happening this weekend. Our Kid Junior, the Laval Rocket, and yeah, a lot of things are around the NHL. So Montreal Canadiens are going to play in New York, like I said. Mike Madison wearing the regular jersey. I'm not sure he's going to play this weekend for the Montreal Canadiens. They missing a lot. I think as Mike Madison, we did not say Mike Madison full healthy with the Montreal Canadiens, came back after missing at the beginning of the season for 10 game, maybe 9 game, and then he got hurt again. But you didn't see the Mike Madison we know when he played with the Florida Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. This an element Montreal does not have a puck mover, a guy on transition, and that would be interesting if he can be a little bit healthy. But we're going to see really the Mike Madison, Mr. Natap, only next season where we really trade for him. So that's another decision Montreal Canadiens going to go during the weekend. A difficult weekend for them, for sure. Again, the New York Islanders, I think the New York Islanders did not win for the last couple of games, and then the Rangers are on fire right now. They have a long homestand and the New York Rangers, and so again, Montreal have 2 big games this weekend. Would be interesting about this. Maybe you can talk about one specific player you really impressed by the Montreal Canadiens during the season, the first half, and what you're looking for the Montreal Canadiens for the second half.
You know what? I think there's depending on the time of the year. I mean, the most obvious name that comes to mind is obviously, for me anyways, Cole Caulfield. Um, based on what we projected for him in terms of points and goals scored, he's definitely maintained that pace. He started it off last year when there was the switch of coaching, and he did a stint down in Laval and then came back up. And quite honestly, since Martin St. Louis came on the scene, he's been a different hockey player altogether. You can see now he has that confidence about him. He doesn't need much real estate to get his shot off. What I've noticed is he's really improved on trying to create ice space for himself so that he can get a shot away. He doesn't just receive the puck and just shoot it. There's times he does that instant shot, but a lot of other times he creates and drags the puck and puts himself in a better position to maximize his scoring opportunity. So he's probably been, one of the most notable players from Montreal that sticks to mind. In terms of what I would expect the second half, I mean, you hate to say it, but more of what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. I'm afraid that when you look at the totality of this team, we're not in a good position right now, and in terms of where we need to be. We have some very good pieces, of course. We have some very good prospects in the system, but I think once we probably trade a couple veterans, and I'm thinking the likes of maybe Monahan, could be Anderson, could be Edmondson, could be possibly Dvorak. We don't know, right? Whatever deal I guess they can consummate, you're going to see the team is going to. I'm not going to say spin out of control, because I think they've learned their lesson. I think that they know how to maintain a game that's close in competition, and I think that they'll continue to do that. But they just don't have the talent. They don't have the horses to fully compete with some of the upper echelon of teams in the NHL.
Yeah, second half will be interesting. If you ask, okay, I want to see the Caulfield consider what he's doing. For me, it would be how they're going to develop their players until the end of the season. I remember, like Martin Saint Louis came in February. He's going to celebrate his first year next month. when they hit the March, we did gender. Well, we have a fight right now in the NHL. If I said to you a Zucker, that would be surprised. And right now he hit very well against Dylan, Brandon Dylan and
Oh yeah.
Zucker. And I never thought Zucker would be that. Right now he's just hanging there. Dylan tried to remove his arm, but here we go. It finally he fall. Nothing happening for Dylan. Anyhow,
Okay.
what remember last year when they said in March we're going to reevaluate the player going to come back next year? It's like a testing evaluation, everything like that. I feel it will be the same way for the Montreal starting and the trade deadline. The All Star games coming. Then after that, you have the trade deadline in March, and then from March 3rd to the April 15, 17, when they finish the last game of the season, you're going to see some kind of evaluation about players. Okay, what we do with Drouin, what we do with Peseta, what we do with Jake Haven. I can go all the way like this, right? And they're going to take a decision. All the move they have to do. My concern is Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman became a red apple, and I see at the beginning of season, during season, right, not happy, and you can see he show his emotion by his behavior on the bench, his body language, everything like that. Mike Hoffman not happy. It's not good in the locker room. Montreal have to figure out with him. You have still one more year to go, and if I was Montreal Canadiens right now, I was shocking, and they will wait until the trade deadline. But if they don't trade him at the trade deadline, why not to bring him in the Laval Rocket?
Yeah, I doubt anybody will touch his contract on the waivers. So
right. So what
yeah,
you do,
he'll
you just
land.
put him at the trade deadline, bring him then. I don't know if he's going to report or not, but I know we'll do it before the trade deadline. You try to, maybe trade him, maybe turn that. Now, if we trade many players, you have a spot, are we fine? But you cannot have Mike Hoffman for the year after that. So he's going to be on my evaluation until the end of the season for my second half about this. After that, it's going to be the improvement of the other player. Kirby Dak is really the one I'm looking for the second half. Why? Because we don't know he's going to be a winger. We don't know he's going to be a center. And this is a key word the Montreal Canadiens need to figure out for the next year. Okay, what we do with him. And that's really, if you think about all the forward, we know Ziski, we know Caulfield, we know Sakoski. But the rest, it's not a matter with Devorak, what he's going to do. We know he's going to be back, he's back. But as the defenseman, it's Jordan Harris. I want to see Jordan Harris make what it will look like. Wow, what a one-timer shot. Pittsburgh looking bad, Mr. Natat, 4-1 right now. And it's
Thanks,
looking bad.
Luciano.
Like, it's looking bad. Like, yeah. Anyhow, so there'll be the
They're not
two
making
players
the
I'm looking for:
playoffs.
the Jordan Harris and Kirby Doc. Now you're going to see Justin Barron. I'm not sure yet. If Justin Barron stay there, that's another player I'm looking forward to. But that's what the second half. I'm not worried about the number, the point. I'm not worried about how they're going to play. Hopefully, they can play like last night. Now, as a team, I want to see the development of special team and the development on the defensive zone coverage. The rest, I'm not,
Harder to do.
Yeah. So that will be
It's
something.
sorry, I was just going to say, I don't think that they're as dedicated right now at this stage in their development to focus on the special teams. I'll be quite honest with you. I think they will address it, but I think that that'll be done in the off season.
To react, yeah. No, about the personnel,
Yeah.
yes. I'm talking about the concept, right? To develop
okay.
the concept. So yes, on the personnel, I have no problem with that part over there, right? But on the concept, I
Right.
would think I would be something you have to look. Before we go a little bit deeper, we want to welcome a couple of people. Luciano Graziano is in the house, followed by L. Anson. Welcome, both of you.
Welcome.
From Denver, William Snyder knocked the door. Welcome aboard, William Snyder. Thanks for being with us. And then we have Pete Winstock. Mr. Natap is with us tonight from Ontario,
Hey, Peter.
directly from Facebook. Welcome aboard, Pete. Great youth travel, and then we have Shania from Taiwan in the house, from Thailand in the house. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be a part of the show.
Welcome,
And we have a
Shania.
question, Mr. Narta, for Luciano. We have up front affairs should been more quiet about their plan. If I was to go, my answer to media would be we are just gonna try a one slowly, a quiet. You make you move. Um, Yes, a great point. I would say to you, maybe, not maybe try to win whatever it is, but maybe just said, we're going to see what we think at the beginning of the season was about developing the rookies. So going to be move on to you know, until the end of the year and go from there. But the movement will be something I'm looking for. What do you do with Drouin? What do you do with Dadanov? What do you do with Hoffman? What do you do with after that Monahan? The four player I'm looking is 04. Not sure about Emerson, not sure about Anderson, not sure about Devorak, because it's not easy to move those pieces for what they can get in return. The market trade line could be really interesting, because we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but we have a lot of name on the board where they will push back the Montreal Canadiens. Example, do you take Josh Anderson or you take Timo Meier? Right?
Of course,
Right?
Timo
You take
Meier's a more.
Patrick Kane or you take Josh Anderson. So it'll be really interesting to see that. At some point, you have a young core up front, but focus on developing is a young defense more a core for that part. So I think for the Montreal Canadiens, it will be interesting for the next couple of weeks, like any other team, Mr. and Artap. Let's see what we have here. Let's go more in the next the board we want to looking for. Here, what we try to do, Mr. Natal, tonight we want to talk about this fun trophy we have in NHL. One of them, it was, we're going to start with the trophy, Hart Trophy, the most valuable players. Honestly, this trophy is almost done deal. I don't see anybody, at least you can mention other things, but the player we talk could be on the nomination is McDavid with Jack Hughes, Robinson, Fox, Pasternak, Matthews, Tkachuk, Kucherov, Carlson, and Thompson. If you have said to you 3 players you believe going to be a nomination, and people in the chat, you can also make your 3 nomination of the trophy art. What it will be, Mr. Inartap?
I would. I mean, it's a funny thing there. They don't include any goalies. I would almost put one in that conversation. But looking at the list that you have there, definitely Connor McDavid. I would put Tage Thompson in that equation as well, and possibly the third one would be. I'm thinking. I'm sort of going back and forth between Hughes and Robertson, but I'll go with Jack Hughes for now.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice about this. McDavid could be a good one over there on nomination. Now, I would say to you, because usually to take the team out on the playoff, I will go with Jason Robinson and I will go with David Pasternak. In my eyes, Thompson, because he's not going to make the playoff now. A player we don't talk a lot about Kucherov. Kucherov is quiet. No, we don't hear nothing about Kucherov, but Kucherov is at the top 5, and he continues performing night after night, and he have a good year for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Mr. Natap.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's been very instrumental as Tampa Bay has really improved their play over the last month and a half, and they've gotten themselves in pretty much a guaranteed playoff spot.
Definitely. The trophies, the Norris Trophy, Mr. In our top, we have a couple of players there. Adam Fox, Hampus Langholm, Eric Carlson, Ramis Dallin, Kel McCarr, Josh Morrissey, Doug Hamilton, Philip Ronek, Brady Tkachuk, and Alex Pietrangelo. This is all about the GSVU VA in the beginning, and then they turn around this way. What do you expect about that trophy?
Well, definitely, I would keep Fox there. I think Darlene merits a lot of mention. I would probably throw Josh Morrissey in that equation, but I really love what Hampus Lindholm is doing in Boston as well. So those 4 there. I know sometimes this becomes more about the points a player gets rather than the emphasis both on defensive play and offensive play. So that's why sometimes you see it skewed in that fashion. But those guys really stand out to me this year.
Yep. We have Rudolph in the door. Welcome back, Mr. Rudolph. Thanks to be with us. He said Fox, Morrissey, and Dallin for Rudolph. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a great pick over there. I would still put Carlson, and I would say why. He could become the players could reach the first 100 point as a defenseman. And this could be make a big difference, like a splash, like McCall scored 28 goals last year. It makes sense, like that number of 100, like Matthews got a 60 goal last season. That's the
yeah,
reason he
yeah.
got the trophy. So we said if Carlson reached the 100, he could be a player could get it at the end. Now, Dallin, McCarr, it will be hard to Morrissey to push Dallin or McCarr out. The only advantage for Morrissey going over Dallin, it would be because they make the playoff. I think the reputation of the McCall could be a difference right there. But I think the underrated player for me would be Adam Fox behind everything. I think if the second half of the season, the Rangers have a really good season, half season, I think Adam Fox could be the one nobody talk a lot for that one. So I'll be the one I would not be surprised. Was not Dallin the number one pick a couple years ago? Yes, William, it was the first one.
Yes.
First overall pick by the Buffalo Sabres. You're absolutely right about this. So the
See,
numbers is over.
if we're looking at it, Coach, if we're looking at it even from a points perspective, which I think a lot of the voting sometimes, like I said, gets skewed in thinking. I mean, Josh Morrissey's right behind Erik Karlsson right now.
Yeah.
45 points halfway during the season. I mean, he's on pace to, get over 90 points himself. So
definitely could be on that part, and the win pay looking good. So at the end of the day, I think you get something solid around that one over there. The next one we talk about is the Frank Selke, the best defensive forward. We have different players over there. We have Michael Backlund, Bergeron, Stahl, Comfer, Stone, Erickson, AK, Sam Reinhart, O'Shire, Marner, and Philippe Dano.
Well, for me, it's in this category. It's always the same old, same old. I just love Patrice Bergeron. I think this guy has proven it year in and year out that this award, just like it was initially brought out for Bob Gainey and his style of play, it's now become more synonymous with Bergeron. I would. I would probably a bit of a surprise, but maybe I would include in that conversation Joel Eriksson from Minnesota.
It's not a
I think this,
surprise. You're really good on that one. Yeah.
yeah, I really like his play. He's very, very responsible. If you look at games where they're close in score or late in a game, in overtime, he's always on the ice, and that's because they have the confidence in him to do the right things defensively, but also he's got very good hands, and if he's in close, he will score. So I like him a lot as well, and probably I would go with Mark Stone as well. Now unfortunately he got hurt again, so that might take him out of the conversation, depending on how long he's out. But this guy is all heart, and he never ever stops. He never relaxes when he's out there. He's a definite threat, both 5-on-5 and even when they're on the penalty kill or on a power play. This guy can score, and I think when you think of Vegas, the first name for me, anyways, that comes to mind is Mark Stone.
Yeah, it's a great selection. Bergeron for sure. I think Erickson, AK have to be there, and I would add maybe Philippe Dano. Dano, I think he
Yeah,
could
very
become one of
underestimated.
the top five for sure. But the rest, you compare this, I think Mark Stone was one over there. I think the Nico Shara is the one who could be named. It would be a little bit more talk about him. And Langholm for the Calgary Flame over Backlund, but Langholm did not start very well at the beginning. So I think it will be the, the nomination of those for the trophy, Selke. Let's move on for the next one.
And
We
we
got
both have no
Mr. Top, the Calder Trophy. Calder Trophy is
a
really
rookie.
it's a little bit like the heart. Like I think right now the Bernier is really the one dominate for everything since the beginning of the season. Now, at some point we talked maybe Skinner or Kachekov, like you said over there. Power. We put Jake Sanderson, Berggren. They not now. We talk about that. Matt Shinley and Arizona and other players around, but slowly, properly, I think at Bernier right now, you can talk about the kid for the Buffalo, but I don't think so. Neither one of them could be close. So I think for me, Bernier is really the one is almost alone there. Some people talk about Logan Thompson. I'm not sure Logan Thompson could be another asset there too.
Yeah, he's definitely in that conversation, but I agree with you 100%. I think Matty Beniers is heads above everybody else on that list in my eyes. He's developed very nicely. You can tell that if a lot of the success is due to his research, well, not resurgence, but his emergence this year with Seattle. On that same, I mean, it's too bad that Matthias Maccelli got hurt because at one point he was the leading point getter of all rookies. Uh, and I don't know if he's back in the lineup yet, but he was out for a while. So unfortunately, uh, unfortunately, because he's in Phoenix, we don't see him that much, and so we don't know just what he's capable of until he comes here in Toronto or in Montreal or in parts of the states that our fans are from. But I've seen him play a couple times, and I really like the fact that not only is he getting the assists because he's not much of a goal scorer, but he great passing skills and very responsible defensively. The third guy I would probably put there as well is the goalie Kuchekov for the Hurricanes. I thought that while Anderson was injured, he came in and did an admirable job. Unfortunately, it's hard for a goaltender sometimes to get this award because you don't play the same frequency as some of the other players do. So I doubt that he would win it. But those three really stand out to me.
Yeah, great point here. I think honestly, everybody is agree with Berniers to be that one of to get that trophy. Power Sanderson, two defensemen, maybe one or two could be a nomination, and I think I have to go with Logan Thompson. Um, and because he became the
Yeah.
regular number one for the team, and the way the Vegas play, at least he struggles second half. But right now, I have to put Thompson in that conversation tonight.
Yes, that's a
Uh,
good point.
Yeah, we have to welcome back Jeffrey Corey. Thanks to be with us tonight. Very quiet night, Mr. Natap, tonight. Don't know what's going on, but I
They're
don't know.
watching Pittsburgh lose.
I'm sorry.
They're watching Pittsburgh lose.
I don't know. It's like it's rare we go over 20 people tonight. We don't get people, so I don't know. Um, maybe it's 13, the Friday 13, Mr. Natap. Maybe that's happening. Another trophy where it's a little bit it's not easy. The Vezina Trophy. You talk about Zorokin, Elebach, Zaros, Ulmark, Ottinger, Vasilevsky, Skinner, Klumper, Chesterkin, and Carter Hart. The list is very good there, but what it would be maybe your top four, at least top five, but top three maybe of this trophy Vezina. Thanks so much for all the likes, everybody.
Well, at the top of the list, I would put Hellebuck. I think that his play this year has gone back to his old form. He's the one that keeps them in all the games, even though they have a lot of good, very good talent on that team. it all begins and stops with him. And I was saying today, if you look at Winnipeg's analytics, they're performing much better than what their expected goals for and goals against are. So to me, that indicates that it's your goalie that's bailing you out in very, very close games. So I would put him at the top of the list. I think that we've seen a great exhibition of goaltending in the last week, but even longer. But in particular, this last week and a half from UC Soros.
Yeah, last month.
Anybody? Yeah, he's been just absolutely surreal. He had faced over 100 shots in just 2 games, and won both those 2 games. He's the reason. I mean, there's a couple of other players on that team that did wake up. I think Forsberg woke up. Duchesne to a lesser degree, but Saros is really the reason why they're even sniffing at a playoff spot for Nashville. Sorokin, I mean, you could say the same thing for him on the island. I think the Islanders have a little bit more talent on that team, and they play a much better defensive-minded game. And I think he's been what Shesterkin was last year for the Rangers. Now Shesterkin's good, playing very well this year, but he's not at the level of those three. And I forget which coach had said this once. Said, "You show me a good defense, and I'll show you a good goalie." Because those two things go hand in hand. And if your defense is bailing you out, making sure the rebounds are taken away from you, and you make that initial first save, you're gonna have good numbers.
You're absolutely right about this. Great comments. We want to welcome back Chicago and Mark 536. He talked about Vanecek 16-5-2. Yeah, he have a good year so far when he's checked, but I don't think so. You can compare him. It's not easy. You think about the list. For me right now, you can see the top 6, right? Sorokin at the box, Zaros, Ullmark, Oettinger, Vasilevsky, and Shesterkin at the bottom. It's a list really good. For this season, for what he accomplished with the Boston, I have to put Ullmark in conversation, Mr. Nata.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, remember a couple of days ago we were talking about. I think Michael was with us, and we were talking about of these goalies or any other ones that may not even be on this list. Who would you consider an elite goalie, right? And
exactly,
I thought Ullmark is in that conversation for sure. I know he hasn't done it with the same frequency as some other guys like Hellebuck or
for the season this
Vasilevsky.
year he is.
But for this year, yeah, definitely he is. I mean, he has the best numbers of all the goaltenders that are on that list. When you look at goals against, save percentage, number of wins, but he's definitely there. And again, who's kind of overlooked in all of this? Vasilevsky and Oettinger, and yet they're both elite.
Yeah. If I had to go that way with there, my number 2 would be Hellebuck. The way the Winnipeg Jet play right now and the play he can run that team, that would be so my number 3. I'm not sure because I have to go with between Oettinger, Vasilevsky. Unfortunately for Zaros, because Nashville, I don't think so he's going to make the playoff. I don't think so he's going to be under whatsoever. He was not last season. But if he continues to play like he's doing right now, like the last season, Zaros could become the one of the top 3. So Sorokin, unfortunately, with the Islanders, I don't see it will happen. So Hellebuck, I will go with Ullmark, and
it's not easy.
No, because I don't know would be the second between the Rangers, example, the Dallas Star. If the Dallas Star finish first, I think Oettinger is going to be there. I think Vasilevsky would be good, but because they finished third, I think it will be a little bit more behind. So yeah, that would be a trophy not to give about this. So does not have the top 10 number. It's so I don't have in front of me. I don't think like for every department. I don't think so. Good, but not at the same
No,
level like we talk about those kind of goaltender. For me, really so on my eyes.
not yet. Not yet. In
Yeah,
maybe next year.
Hot Ross, Mr. Natap, the most point.
Again, one person running away with it, Connor McDavid. And I like the order that's there, to be honest with you. Draisaitl and Thompson. Um, but you also have to give a lot of credit, I think, to Rantanen, because when McKinnon was out, uh, and not only then, but he pretty much took the team on his own shoulders and carried them. But they're out of a playoff spot right now. That's the only problem. Um, I mean, so many good players here, Coach. But I think in terms of most points, it's gonna be a cakewalk for Connor McDavid as long as he stays healthy.
I think they should give him the trophy right now, like right tonight. Like they
I
should
think
give
so.
it to him. So
Yeah.
look, we don't have to present this in Vegas. I will give it to him. Nobody can beat
The
him
bigger
with that.
question, the bigger question is, does he hit 150?
Yeah, um, he's
I
on
think he's
mission,
on
right?
pace.
He's really on. He remind me Nathan McKinnon 2 years ago. What you talk about 2 years ago? They won the Stanley Cup last season, right?
Yeah.
The year before that, he get hung, he get upset, he get frustrated, and when he got eliminated the second round, remember by the Vegas Golden Knight,
Yes.
and that year the Montreal beat the Vegas Golden Knight. That's the transformation McKinnon after that. When he come back to that year, they won the Stanley Cup last season. You can see he was on their mission. I can see the same thing right now for McKinnon and for McDavid on the personal side, where Matthews got that trophy. He won it. He want to play. You can see he scored more goal. He's more about him to score to reach those kind of 50 goals, 60 goals. Maybe it would be, if he's not get 150, it would be really close about this. On the same thing with the trophy Richard. Now, you have a little bit more competition with that. We talk about Thompson, we talk about Pasternak, Robinson, Ovechkin. It's crazy to see that. Rantanen, all that, Hughes, Kaprizov, and Matthews. So what you expect for the Rocket, Richard?
Again, I think not as convincingly, but definitely McDavid for this. I think, as you said, he's sort of on a mission this year. He wants to make sure that he doesn't leave any stone unturned, so that he can bring this hardware all home at the end of the year. But Tage, what can you say about Thompson? Because this guy, he's just been off the charts, surreal. He seems to score pretty much at will when he puts his mind to it and goes to the net. He scores. If he decides to take a shot, he's got a very solid, accurate shot and deceptive too. And of course, with his size, he creates a lot of ice space. Like he can easily move around the defense. So I would put him a close second, and Pasternak probably third.
Yep. Good show there. The Winnipeg just won by the score 4-1. Dan Asham, an internet user, are in the house. Welcome back, both of you.
Welcome,
And
Dan.
Khaled Asham. Thanks so much, Dan, for the update for this game. KLS at 162.4. KLS, by the way, I will come back, KLS. And then thanks for being there. Rocket, Thompson, Pasternak, McDavid for me.
In that order?
No. McDavid, Thompson, Pasternak.
Yeah. So we agree.
Yeah. It would be the way I would see that for that one there. And the last trophy, Mr. Nata, I want to talk about tonight is the it's not
Lady
William.
Byng?
It was the last trophy. I thought we have another one. I forgot to put the
Oh,
trophy Jack Adams, Mr. Natap. Jack
Oh,
Adams.
Jack
So
Adams.
yeah, so if I said to you the Jack Adams, what will be the trophy for you, Jack Adams?
Oh man, a few names always come to mind here, and this year it's especially difficult. You look at the I mean, John Cooper is probably one of the best coaches out there that's never won the award, and I think he deserves it. I think he's overlooked quite a bit. But having said that, I don't think this year he would win it. Um, I'm looking more at guys like what Bruce Cassidy's done in Vegas. If you look at the Boston situation, Jim Montgomery's come in and they haven't skipped a beat. They've actually looked a lot better um, than when Cassidy was there. Um, I would say with the Winnipeg Jets, I think Rick Bowness has done a fantastic job there. He's totally changed the culture around, and I would give him a serious look as well. Um, And yeah, those are probably the three that stand out the most in my mind. Three or four.
Yep, KLS, Jack Bonnes, right? You're absolutely right, KLS, about this. I think I would add the coach for Seattle Kraken,
Yeah,
Dave
you know what,
Haskell.
David Haskell. Yeah, he's done a great job as well.
I think I would add that coach for this. Now you have you can talk about Granado, you can talk about Lindy Ruff. I think Lindy Ruff would be considered, but if you think overall, um, I think for me I have to go with Jim Montgomery. The way the Poison played, they lost yesterday, but they still have only 5 losses, and they're looking right now to be like 130 point over at the end of the year if they consider that way. So I have to go with Jim Montgomery. I understand Rick Barnes. I think for me, if I have my second choice, would be Rick Barnes because the Winnipeg Jet, the way they play and the way they was expect at the beginning of the year, it's it's not what it's supposed to be. And I think for me, Rick Barnes will be my second choice. My third one will be very difficult. But because the surprise, I have to go with the Seattle Kraken over Vegas because Vegas was really no. And I'm looking for me a Jack Adam more about. When I gave a Jack Adam in my eyes is always this: what the team looked like at the beginning of the year, what the expectation, and do you finish with above expectation? That's it will be always be my first criteria about the select a coach in NHL. Whatsoever, then probably one example with John Cooper, right? And because they don't give the Jack Adams after the playoff, they always gave before. So you have to say, okay, if Tampa Bay finished with 96 points at the beginning, you expect them to reach 110, 115, you want the President Trophy. You have to go consider those coaches like a good at the end of the year. And that's what I evaluate a coach. He have an average team, but he make them better. That's a good way to see a good coach in NHL year after year. But that would be my three picker in the chat. And that's
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
Mr. Tap.
yeah. I think when you think of it from the perspective of who's taken their players and brought them to the next level, in other words, they haven't inherited a great set of players. Like Paul Maurice could have gone into Florida, and if Florida was doing great, I probably wouldn't put him in the equation in terms of
But I think one we did not
the
talk is about
trophy.
it's about Rob Brandamo.
Yeah, Brendan Moore. Yeah, he's consistently done it. He kind of reminds me of John Cooper a little bit. I would rank Cooper a little bit ahead of him.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
he won the Stanley Cup,
definite.
right? But you think about a coach
Yeah,
for 600 winning percentage of the last 3 years. I think Brandamo should be mentioned. About we did not mention his name at all, so I think it will be one of them for sure.
yeah.
Now you can have other coaches like Detroit. Okay, let's talk about Lalonde.
Lambert.
Then with that, Mark talk about Granado. Those two go. All depend would be the season at the end of the year, but I don't see like get ahead with. I think with Montgomery, I don't think so. They would be the same level. William McRae go with Montgomery. We have Richard. Welcome aboard, Richard. Now could the Canadians play in the college or not? Is there even future in Arizona? Great question, Richard. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yes,
100%.
you have a future. The reason why we said that, they passed the vote to build a building in Temp for the next 3 years. They still have now to go on the public area. If I can recall it, they have to go on the public vote in the beginning of the spring 2023. And then after that vote, possibly they have an open up to get build a new ring in Temp. So that would be the best way, Richard, about the Arizona Coyotes and the futures. A great question about them. The Mullet Arena, Mr. Natap, really interesting. You know what the good news, Mr. Natap, about the Mullet? Like, if you go to the Florida Panthers game, right? If the Rangers play Boston Bruins, Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leaf, it's always been 70-30 for the opponent team. If you go to Arizona at the Glendale or when they play before the American Airlines 2 in downtown Phoenix, it's always been the opponent team have a lot of people. Like when Edmonton Oilers play there, 60-70% of the people are dressed Edmonton and 30%. But the Mullet Arena, not much. It's 50-50 because only 4,000 or 5,000 and you cannot fill up the spot over there. So maybe that's the only advantage. You see more red jersey or the maroon jersey of the Coyotes and the building at the Mullet Arena. Mr. Natap, about this.
There's more media than there are fans.
Exactly. That's another thing for sure. We have Roger DANY knock the door. Welcome aboard, Roger. Thanks to be with the Hockey News Live show tonight.
Hey, welcome,
Let's
Roger.
see you about the public vote would be end May 16, Mr. Natap. Confirmed by Luciano. Thanks so much for the note about this. Luciano, he wear a lot of hats right now tonight. Is maybe take the spot at the RG at that moment, Mr. Natap. Let's move on to the next thing where the shows fly right away. And tonight we're going to shut down a bit earlier because in our tap is star. NHL trade deadline. We have a couple of players I mentioned too. I can go with more, but my players and just in the chat do the same thing. Most of the name out there are going to be moved on somewhere. I would like to hear from each one of you in the chat and you, Mr. Natap. Where do you see that player go? So, example, Bo Horvat, Vancouver, or if you think no, it's not going to be trade, you can mention this too. So, I mentioned those 6 names over there and give us a little bit your answer. And that will be the same thing, guys, for this guys on the chat. So, it'd be great to hear that. So, the first one, Bo Horvat for the Vancouver Canucks. What is your expectation for him?
Okay. Bo Horvat, I could see him landing in Winnipeg. Jonathan Toews could land in Toronto.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Because I want to get a little bit more time. So, not no time, but mention why Bo Horvat Winnipeg went not to send him. And
yeah,
I don't know. Colorado Avalanche example.
It's very simple with Bo Horvat and Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg, if Cheveldayoff sees it correctly, this is a special window that's been gifted to them. They're having a career year. Some players are having career years as well. Like you look at Wheeler's much better than he was last year. Scheifele's back to form and scoring almost at will any game. Kyle Connor now is probably one of the hottest shooters. Ehlers now is back in the lineup and offers the team not just offense, but defense as well. And also adds to their speed. Like they're just missing that one extra piece that sort of slots a couple of their players. Like, and I'm thinking of guys like Perfetti, who's had to play sometimes first line, sometimes mostly second. But if he were to play on the third line, I think this team could roll 4 lines very easily against any other team. They have the goaltending. The defense is solid. It would just put them over the top. And if they don't go for it, there's too much instability at the end of the year in terms of what's going to happen with these players. Will Wheeler come back? Does Scheifele still want out? Does Pierre-Luc Dubois not sign with them again and look to go elsewhere? Um, Even Hellebuck, can he repeat? Because he's getting on with age too now. Can he repeat the kind of year he's having now? Does Morrissey maintain the standard that he's established this year? So there's a lot of question marks that it's not the kind of team where you sort of built it, took a couple of years, and now you're going to have another 5 or 6 years. If you don't win this year, you're going to win next year or the year after. You kind of maximize that way. Here, I feel this is their real window, and they have to go all out for a big trade here.
So, Bo Horvat, is it a rental player or he's going to be signed where he's going to go?
I think if it's Winnipeg, I think it's a rental.
So you think Winnipeg is going to give a prospect a first round pick just for a rental?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they have to, coach. It's so hard to win the Stanley Cup, and you know that better than anyone because you've been around the game so long. It's difficult, and even when you have a great team, and there's a lot of great. Look at Toronto's had a fantastic team the last 6-7 years, and they haven't been able to convert it to a Stanley Cup. And you can go down the list with a number of other teams that have been in the same situation. It's difficult. So if you have that window and you think that bringing a Bo Horvat over is going to put you over the top, then you have to swing for the fences. It could be, and that's why, Barry Zito, I think, tried to do that last year. And it was a good idea. He sort of emptied the cupboards in terms of prospects and picks that were given out. But he thought, hey, you know what? I'm getting Sherratt in here. I'm getting who else did they get from Philadelphia? Their captain. His name now escapes me.
For who?
He's on Ottawa now.
Giroux.
Florida. Giroux, right. Exactly. So they thought, okay, we got a great team. We went out and got Giroux. We went out and got Sherratt and solidified our defense. And they got another defenseman as well that I can't remember at the moment. But, they went all in. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. And that may happen as well with Winnipeg. I don't know. But I think it's your responsibility as a GM that if that window presents itself and you feel you can bring in one extra piece that will put you over the top, then you do it.
All right, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in here. First of all, I think it's good answer about this. We have a couple of people have information in the chat. Some people put him a Colorado, and that's what I got here with it. But I would take you Winnipeg. Winnipeg is number 6 in the standing right now. They just won tonight. Here's what I would say: Bo Horvat is not going to be Winnipeg. I think it's going to be a Lane Holmes situation. Sometimes you have to be careful. Giroux did it. Giroux not screw up, but change the Panthers lineup roster. Whatever he produces, he makes some mess up the top 9. I think a Bo Horvat will be the same thing with the Winnipeg Jet. I think we're now with Heller, Connor, Wheeler, with Dubois and Heller, Wheeler, and Connor and Scheifele. I think the top 6 is good. If I'm Winnipeg Jet, I'm going to move on more as a defenseman for them. And they have to be a right defenseman. I don't trust Pionk with DeMelo. The defenseman is not strong enough on the right D. I don't say have to be a right D. You can move a LD right D. I think the left is good with Morrissey and Dillon, but I think there would be a preference. The key for Winnipeg, I'm going to shocking everybody tonight. They should get John Kleinberg for the Dallas Star for the Anaheim Ducks. He's the only one is a right solid defenseman right now on the market. They don't have a lot of market. Chick run over there, that would cost them too much. And I think for the Winnipeg cannot go that direction about this. Now, if Bo Horvat was signing a contract at Winnipeg, that's another story. But rental player, I don't think so. Horvat's going to be in Winnipeg. I don't think so. Winnipeg going to move a lot to get those kind of players at the end of the day.
Okay.
Jonathan Toews.
Toews, boy, I think he would most benefit the Toronto Maple Leafs. And if you put him in the role of the third center on that team, number one, he's a great face-off person, and possession is very, very important, not just in hockey, but especially in playoff hockey. Number two, it solidifies, it makes their, if you put him at center, they probably have the best 1-2-3 center punch in the NHL, bar none. Number three, this guy brings leadership qualities to the team. Number four, he's got pedigree because he's won 3 Stanley Cups himself. So he knows what it takes. He can calm down, because that's the biggest, for Toronto, that's their biggest obstacle, is themselves right now. And you don't want them going into the playoffs with a seed of doubt that, are we going to get the same results that we got the last X amount of years, right? And somebody like Jonathan Toews is the kind of guy that would go in there and would calm down the room, and he would lead by example. So I don't know if he'll land there. I'm not saying he will. We're all speculating, of course, and we're not in the heads of the GMs knowing what's going on. I just think he would make a nice fit there.
Yeah, absolutely about this, but I will go with me. Don't think so. He's going to Toronto, and I think Toronto need 2 areas: a top 6 winger and a defenseman RD.
A defenseman, yeah.
So I think it's 2 areas. So a guy like maybe Tarasenko could be a really good prospect to get there for 1 year. It's like a rental player. Does it make sense? Not like a player at long term where you're going to sign him for X. So I think Tarasenko fit very well with the Toronto Maple Leafs. For the last 2 years, what they're missing, Toronto, is 1 extra goal. That's it. Only 1. If they score the goal against Montreal, we don't have the same story after that, right? And I think that would be the key about this. I think they need a top 6. You're going to pick the overcharge or over pressure of Matthews, Marner. Because when you have a Tarasenko, and you have only 4: Tavares, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. But now we have an extra 1. It's complicated, right? So it's not easy. You have a Tarasenko, and every time line number 1 pop up, it's like a wave. The line number 2 pop up. Wait a minute, it's still the same powerhouse scoring chance over there. So for me, Toronto will be there, and the cost of Tarasenko could be only 1 first-round pick in return, and maybe a prospect like Robinson. So they can't afford to go that direction. That will be for Toronto, that kind of the stuff. We have a lot of questions in the house, but we're going to consider with that. Mr. Nathan, we'll just pick it up a couple of things in the chat. Then we're going to move on with the player we have. And then we have, can I think of the 2 teams who can use at least 2 other players, Edmonton and Avalanche? The problem with that, Luciano, you have 2 teams, is because the cost of that. So usually they will pay a 1 full price, and then you're going to go on the bottom 6, or a player like they will add last season, Marco Sturm and Coquiliano, a player like at the bottom 6 around the league. I'll just give you a name right there. I don't say they have to be those kind of players, but just to satisfy the leadership, the face-off, or an area they're looking for, and I think like this. Talking about Jonathan Toews, Mr. Top, the performance at the center of Toronto is really good. I think Toronto is top 5 on the face-off, by the way, with Matthews, David Camp,
absolutely,
and John Tavares. So I just want to mention this.
And that's why I brought up Toews, because I think he would contribute to that and probably increase it even more. If you have that possession, I think I think the thing is, when you're in the playoffs, it's not necessarily about your first or second line. It's about your third and your fourth line. And that's why Colorado did the smart thing last year. When they went hunting at trade deadline time, they didn't go for home runs. They went for, role players. They picked up Lehkonen. They picked up a couple of other players there that really filled in small holes, and it allowed their top players to be even more potent than they are, because at this point you can roll your third and possibly even your fourth line out there and not skip a beat. So they're a more rested first and second line. You can double team them if you have to, because you got to get back into a game. It allows you so much more flexibility, and that's why I put Taze with Toronto, because I thought that might put him over the top, but it might be difficult. It might be difficult for him to land there.
Richard talk about the playoffs still become a goalie league, and you have to be red hot going in match against Twick over under. Yes, Richard, anything go to all the way to the final, you have to have a goaltender, a red hot goalie or a super elite goalie. Absolutely right about this, Richard. It's like,
and I would even go a step further and say you have to be the hot team going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
not just have a hot goalie.
But
right, if you can time it so that your last 10 to 15 games are when you're at your peak, look out, you're going to be dangerous in the playoffs.
Yeah, but if you think about Tampa Bay, right? They was there all the time. I would say to you the underdog, yes. But usually the underdog will go to the final, but you're going to missing piece to win the Stanley Cup, right? The Tampa Bay did it. The only thing I think it went out that way would be the St. Louis Blues.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the team. Yeah, that would be like, they pick it up after the second half of the season and they go that way. It's Foligno with the Kraken. No, Foligno is with the Boston Bruins. And then his brother played with the Minnesota Wild. So, and a quick, with Kane and Ties be trade for at $550 million, even a given $5 million, there be a limit on the team can make it worth it under the cap. I'll give you a good example about this. So let's see, Patrick Kane is trade to Anaheim. So Patrick Kane is going to be traded at Anaheim. So the Chicago Blackhawks is going to get 50% of the contract of Patrick Kane. That gave Patrick Kane $5.5 million with Anaheim and $5 million. Like we split 5-5. Does it make sense, Mr. Top?
Yeah.
Now, Anaheim is going to trade Patrick Kane to the New York Rangers. Now, we're not going to talk about the player coming back in the pick, right? We're just talking about Patrick Kane. So when they trade Patrick Kane, the Anaheim can keep 50% of the salary of Patrick Kane again. So they gave them now $2.5 million go under now to the New York Rangers. So at the end of the equation, it's going to be only $2.5 million for the New York Rangers for the pay him until the end of the year. Is it did you understand? Is it the best way I can describe this?
Yeah.
Or
absolutely, yeah, totally.
Right? So that's how it works. So when you play with high salary, yes, it is a problem, but you have a way, and you have to involve three-way team to do that. And that's where you can get the maximum you can retain money in NHL is 50%, by the way. So that's the max about this. I thought we saw Chicago earlier. I think I mentioned his name, but it's not. I apologize, Chicago. When I would talk about the Chicago Bear fan, not talking about the Blackhawks. The league for face percentage league are 6. Here we go. See, I said top 5, but they are top 6. I'm missing a top for the about this. You're welcome, William. Taste to fit good and New York Rangers, William. I don't think so. I would say this why in New York Rangers they have already. They miss a right winger over there. So before you always to feel okay, what's all we missing? Which patch? Remember, Colorado pick up the Stanley Cup when they trade Lehkonen, but when they trade for Josh Manson, at the defenseman,
Yeah, Manson.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that they patch up, and that's what Toronto need to do, is to patch up a defenseman and to patch up a winger. And it's sometimes you don't need to be a top winger. Like Lekonen is, he bring a lot, two-way players. He carry on the puck, and then they patch out Cogliano. They got Marco Storm, and that's what the point with the fun team in the NHL. Where okay, how we can add patch for there? Can we give away a lot? I think for me, Florida make a big mistake because they gave away all the way at the same time, and they destroy the top six and the top nine at the point where they try to figure out, okay, where we put Verhey, where we put Ziclair, where we put Orvis over there, and where we put Sam Renard. And that would changing everything. And that would be the problem for that. So you have to be careful when you bring on the table everything. Not problem, Michael. We're almost done anyway. Maybe next time. Not don't worry about this. Not many people anyway. So, but thanks to stop by. Ryan O'Reilly. Patrick Kane we skip. Patrick Kane we don't know yet is injury reserve. So let's move on to Ryan O'Reilly. Do you believe now the Blues? I will give you the example where they are. The Blues right now, guys, are an 18 in NHL with 45 points. That's what they are. On the wild card, Mr. Natap, they are 2 points behind Edmonton, and they are 5 points behind Minnesota Wild. Do you believe they are thinking they can make the playoff if they will keep O'Reilly UFA and Tarasenko UFA?
Well, the problem is he's out, what, 6 to 8 weeks right now, currently?
Yeah, both of
If
them
I'm
are
not
6 weeks
mistaken.
hurt.
That's going to hurt their chances. I know the idea is to just stay afloat and see if they can be within, grasp of that wild card spot in the West. But I personally think it's very difficult. And that's because we haven't seen, we'll start with the goaltending, right? We haven't seen a consistency out of Binnington that's needed in order for that team to be successful. And we've talked about the relevance and the importance of having a key, strong goalie as you make your push. Secondly, question is how much money is he gonna be asking for next year? I think that they have to take that into consideration as well. As much as they love O'Reilly, if he's not gonna give a hometown discount, it's gonna be hard for St. Louis to hang on to him, I believe.
Yeah, another thing we said to you, behind them is Colorado. So they have to fight with Calgary, Edmonton,
Colorado,
Nashville, and Colorado. If you think about this, about Nashville, the goaltender,
it's
think
hard.
about Colorado, what kind of team they are. So and that the when you point about the inconsistency, talk about two-player injury. Now the other GM is
Yeah.
not afraid. If you remember,
Yes.
a couple of years ago, they trade Paul Stastny
Yes.
at the trade deadline when you become a UFA. So it's not a gym like, you know what, if it does not work here, we will just let it go. He learned a lot for Pietrangelo contract. He lost Pietrangelo at the end. But I think for that moment, I would not be surprised if trade both of them. That would give them possibility for me at least 3, maybe 4 picks. First round pick, a second round pick, a third round pick, and possibly to get a first round pick with a prospect. So they're going to fill up their bank behind that. And I think they will expect, okay, we have now Kiru, we have Thomas, we have Neighbor is coming. So the prospect's not too bad. So I think it's a team could become a seller at some point, possibly trade a trade. They could maybe trade Justin Falk as a right defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
You could trade
Very
to
true.
Torrey
Very true.
Crock to Edmonton Oilers as the left defenseman. Yep. So yeah,
I
but what
think
you
they
can do
need
in return, what you're going to get, you're
righty.
going to give Edmonton could give that Tyson Barry to pick up the bad contract for
Very
1 year for St. Louis Blues.
right.
So
Yes. Yes. That's a good
um,
idea.
so that would be no
You have to be
surprise,
creative.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be very creative as a GM and see how you can fill in those gaps because one wrong move and it could set you back a number of years, as we're slowly seeing with Florida. Uh, and one right move could put you over the top.
Yeah, absolutely right. We talk about Chick Run. He's supposed to be traded for 5 years ago. He's still with Arizona Coyotes. We we expect him to get out. On the flip side, the GM of Arizona does not want to change his mind. He expect 2 first-round pick. Expect a prospect. He's really demanding about this. Do you expect a move about Chick Run or not?
Does Chikrin want out of Arizona?
Sorry?
Does Chikrin want out of Arizona?
He requests a trade. Yeah.
He did, eh?
Yeah.
Because on the surface, you're thinking about it. This is a rebuilding team. It's not that Chikrin is old or anything by any stretch of the imagination. You have Gostisbehere that's has had a very good year as well. So why not keep him for your future development? I mean, Chikrin would fit in perfectly just where he is. But I don't think I think they're out of their mind if they think they're going to get that kind of return for Chikrin. I really don't see any GM as desperate as they might be for a right-handed defenseman paying that kind of price. And if they do, it could cost them their job at some point. I think he's going to have to either lower the price, or he might have to change direction and hang on to Chikrin at least until the off season, and maybe trade Gostisbehere.
Yeah, it's possible it can go that way for sure. About this, definitely Timo Meier.
Timo Meier is the kind of player that would help any team out for sure. Question is, who is in need of a centerman here? I would say, oh my goodness, see, like the Rangers need a winger for sure. That's why I think if Kane goes anywhere, it makes so much sense for him to be reunited with Panarin, probably on that second line. It makes a lot of sense. Tarasenko, again, would probably benefit somebody that needs a winger as well. You mentioned earlier Toronto, which is a very plausible destination. Timo Meier, I mean, who's in need? The biggest need that comes to mind is Colorado right now. Question is, can they fit it in their cap? They'd have to really be creative about how they approach this, because Timo Meier's not going to be a rental, right?
No, he have a big
I think you're
contract.
gonna.
He had $10 million next year.
That's right. So, it's a great addition if Colorado can get him like that. You'll see quite a difference in that team. The problem is, how do they fit it in? I just don't see a path, on the spur of the moment.
Would be interesting how you can add this. This is all the trade deadline we get. We have more players like Monahan, Max Domi, and I can go all the way like this. I'll just give you a little bit the top best player right now on the market could be trade bait the next couple of, talk about Edmondson and Montreal, that's another one. And other team, you think about at the bottom of the NHL guys, I will give you an example. Columbus, all right, Nick Wiss, Kavrikov, the defenseman over there. That's two players for the Columbus. And then Anaheim, Kleinberg, and Rinke. That would be two over there. Arizona, can they let go Fisher? Because he be here. That's another one. Yeah. San Jose, Eric Carlson. Can they let go with Timo Meier? We don't want Montreal. Vancouver, we talk about all that. I don't think so. Philadelphia, they will go that direction. Ottawa, can they make something there? And the Florida Panthers. The only way Panthers become a seller is because they want to fill up their bank of the pick, Mr. Natap.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that would be the only way I would say to you. We are almost there, Mr. Natap, and we're going to finish in with two things. First of all, the second half of the season, what are you looking for? On the best team and the best players. Like any specific one or two team is the same thing. And the chat, guys, if you want to talking about this, that'll be great. Tell us what the team you're looking for the second half. What you're going to step up more. They're going to have a better second half compared to the first half.
Well, right off the bat, I would throw Colorado at the top of that conversation, right? I think they can't stay status quo because they're not going to obviously be in a playoff position. So they have to play better if they want to get into the playoffs. I'm not so much worried if they get in the playoffs. It's a whole different story there. I think that they'll be able to handle themselves quite well. The problem is, can they get through the teams that we were talking about earlier? So there's a team that I anticipate should step up their game. Similarly, last year, this time, which other team were we talking about in the same light as we are this year? The Edmonton Oilers. And we were saying they were slightly outside of the playoff spot. And we said this team, they need to address their goaltending. Well, they didn't. They went out and got Kane, and that actually opened up the door in other areas. So they thought they addressed the goaltending this summer. Hopefully, we'll see an improvement. If you talk about a player that really needs to step up, I think it's Campbell for Edmonton. He's one of the ones that comes immediately to mind because if he can step up and steal,
But
even
right now,
two,
in
three, four
January,
games.
and January, Mr. Tap, 201,
Yeah,
2.02,
yeah, much better.
save percentage of 0.902, I think,
Yeah,
or 2.89. I'm not sure, but he have a really good start of the January.
yeah. No, I agree, and that's a player that has to step up, especially with the kind of money that they committed to that position. He's got to look out for that. Now, other teams in the West, um,
And
I
the
don't know.
West, you want to
I
give me, I
don't
would go with Nashville.
I don't think they'll hang in there, Coach. I'll be honest with you. I know Saros is and Roman Yossi have been really the backbone of that team. I just don't think they have the depth to
But
get
they
into
have
a
the
playoff
goalie and they
position.
have the defenseman.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now, Forsberg pick it up
I mean,
the
and
last
that's what
couple of
he
weeks.
contended with.
And if he continue, I think Forsberg is getting now like Kyle Corners. And when you have a Forsberg pick it up, you're going to see the rest like Shine and the Forsberg and then the Shine and Owenson. I think I think it'll be a team could surprise more and it's going to mess up the wild card of the Colorado, Edmonton, Calgary at the end. And that's not going to make the playoff. But I wouldn't be surprised if a team in this division could change everything. It could be the Nashville Predator.
I don't share that same optimism. I mean, I'd like to see them in there because I thought last year they kind of, with the injury to Saros, they got ripped off because they could have put a much better showing in there. And I think a lot of teams they were hot at the end of the year, heading into the playoffs. And I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was with about a week to go that Saros got hurt, a high ankle injury, I think it was,
At the end of the
or
year,
was it
yeah.
and that couldn't have come at a worse time. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I don't see that. I see Tanner Janot's having nowhere near the year and impact that he had last year with this team. I don't see Duchesne producing at the rate that he was last year. Yes, Forsberg has picked it up lately, and that's good for them offensively. Defensively, they're good. They're always solid defensively.
Right
I
now they
don't.
add McDonough.
Yeah, and McDonough brings experience too, right? He's been in the playoffs. He's won the cup, so that's always a helpful
On the
addition.
east,
Um,
on the east, which
yeah.
team you think could have a big impact?
Oh, just take Pittsburgh out of there, please. I've had it with this team. I'll be honest with you. Like I do not know what to expect. Okay, I'll give them a mulligan in that they have a lot of injuries right now on defense, and that's always a contributing factor to their
They don't
situation.
have
But
Jarry, Letank, and Petrie.
and and that's the other thing I was going to say. The goaltending situation hasn't been optimal for them. Um, but they're an aging group, coach. I know that they can play with anybody, but I just worry they do have a very good coach in Sullivan, so that's always a positive. But I just don't see them finishing in a playoff spot. The key here is the East is starting to kind of settle in. Like you look at Carolina, New Jersey, the Rangers. I think those three are guaranteed in.
Yeah,
You
I'm
look at
talking more
Boston,
about the. I will give
Toronto,
you the name of the team, all right, and you can tell me. I think that
Washington,
will be easier to go that way. Pittsburgh, Islanders,
Buffalo.
Detroit, Buffalo, Florida, Ottawa.
Ottawa, no. Florida, no. Buffalo, possibly if they get on a run, but they lost three in a row now. Detroit's in the same kind of position Buffalo is, so I don't think so. So I think you're really looking at Washington, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders for two spots,
So you're going to see between Pittsburgh, Islanders for the wild card.
and the Islanders.
Now, Islander, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah, yeah, that'll be the second spot probably.
Yeah. Okay, so you
I
not
think
see
I
Detroit,
think I
Buffalo,
like the
Florida, Ottawa there.
I like the Islanders. I'll be honest with you. I've always thought that there's a good composition on that team. Like defensively, they're sound. Goaltending, no problem. Offensively, you might say, hey, they need more goal scorers. Look at their stats this year. They're one of the top teams. I would say top 10 in scoring this year. So, it's I think they're a solid team. They play very, very physical, and that's a key component of the playoff hockey. Their defense, I think they're solid with their top four defensemen. Um, in my eyes, they should be in the playoffs.
Okay. And King Gamer said that, yes, yeah, I think you're absolutely right about this. I think it's going to be the next 2 weeks, it will be a separate. And then if Detroit, Buffalo, or the Florida Panthers, or maybe Ottawa can have that kind of 3-4-5 W for the next 2 weeks, there will be just a race of 9 teams on the Eastern Conference, King, on my eyes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that will be the exactly. William said the same thing at the bottom here about this. Finally, Mr. Natap, we'll go to finishing with. Well, we are the best player, but we'll move on because we're almost done here. The NHL Draft 23 prospect, it was the second half of the announced today. And I just want to mention a couple of things here. We got in the North America, Connor Bedard and Adam Fantilli pick up the spot number 1, number 2. William Smith is number 3, followed by Rand Leonard, and then Brendan Yager, Will Oliver Moore, and Zach Benson. And then we have Wood and Onler, Barlow, and Musty. So they have really the one for the NHL North America. And if you want to go to European skater, first one for them will be Carlson for the following by Michkov, Sandin Kapelika, Devoski, Edouard Sally, Stenberg, and then you have Koliev, and then Altunen for the Finland, and Renbatcher, the defenseman, is there. The goalie in North America, if you want to see the goalie, we have Bijan Nelson, the WHL, and Rabel for the USHL, and Augustin, you saw it last time with Cajon, or what do you want to call it. So 4 goaltender, really good on that one. If you want to go on European, you have to go with not much. the goalie on European are not amazing right there on the top prospect, Mr. Notap. Then,
Yeah, it's
Echoes, you should make
uh,
a wine shot about how star player land on the current team and would trade that. Yeah, William, we can do that for sure. Did you get my prediction this morning?
I to be honest, I haven't checked yet
Okay, that's all right.
the emails, so
KLS Fabric
I'll
have
let
un
you know.
impact sincère redonné par Gwen et we get vraiment back, we'll make a run, KLS. Inconsistency for me, my biggest concern about the Detroit Red Wings. That's the only thing I will
Yeah,
we go there for them if I have to pick it up over there. The Devils take the lead, Mr. Top 2-0 in the first 9 minutes of the game.
that's great.
So I just want to share with you about this 2-0. It's Dougie Hamilton and Jasper Bratt score for the Devils and the Winnipeg Jet because of Luciano. We lost again 4-1 the Winnipeg Jet tonight. About that. That's what concludes all the prospect we have here. We just to talk a little bit more about this. I don't think so. We have anything about to add over the fact we'll do a Frenchy quiz. That's pretty much with that. Anything you want to add, Mr. Natap?
No, I think with the prospect list, I mean, we're gonna see variations of it over the next, well, till right up until the draft. Every month, you're gonna see different seedings as different tournaments come along. The playoffs take place in like the OHL, the Memorial Cup. All those things will play into how they get ultimately ranked, and then it becomes a needs game, right? Like each team has to evaluate what they need for their own team, and they're gonna obviously do their due diligence in terms of interviewing and inviting them into, the combines that they have at their respective locations, and we're gonna see. I think it's going to be one of the more exciting years draft wise because of the talent level that's out there, and the fact that Michkov, we don't know. Under normal circumstances, he probably lands as the number two, but under the
These are the
current
top three, yeah.
circumstances, he could go as low as number five. He could, depending on what
Or he can
teams
go number 6.
are number six. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And that would be a great steal for somebody at six.
At the beginning of the year in October, we said a lot. You don't have defensemen. And now we talk about 3 solid defensemen. We talk about Kuliev, we talk about Reinbacher, and we talk about Senden Pelika. Nobody talk about this. The only one we talked many years, it was Allen, Kate Allen at the OHL. Now we get 3 defensemen can pick
Can
up. One of them could become top 10 over there. Montreal have a really good situation. Let's move on for 6 to 9. At number 6, you talk about Devoski could be one on this. I don't think so. They will use a defenseman number 6, but they will wait at number
no.
9 where they at. So there will be 2 defensemen. They are both right defensemen. Sanden Pelika. Only Kiliev is a left defenseman. Now on number 9, you can go with Edouard
Edward
Saleh,
Saleh.
right? The problem
Yeah.
with Saleh is inconsistency. I'm a little bit worried about him. You can go with Charlie Strummel.
Yeah.
You can look like now, Mr. Natap, Brendan Yager is out of the top 10.
I don't no, I don't think he's out of the top 10. I would say he's still hovering in that like 6 to 9 area. I think you're right. His stock has fallen a little bit, but I think he's still a very promising centerman for them. The problem is he'll be overlooked because of his height. I think he's only 5'10", if I'm not mistaken. And if you notice the centerman, which is the strongest position this year on the draft, a lot of them are pretty big. Like they're
Some
6'1",
some
six
pick up
threes.
Zach Benson before Yager right now.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I haven't seen him play enough to say they're right or wrong, but
I don't understand.
it's possible.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be Montreal have two picks, so they can play a bit around. They can make some kind of modification about their selection because they have two selections top 10. Whatsoever, all the experts said Montreal Canadiens are going to be a winner of that draft pick, of that initial draft, because they're going to get top 10 over there.
Yeah.
And if they get Michkov, number 6, and now, I don't know.
The problem is if they pick somebody else, like let's say they get number 4 or 5, and they don't take Michkov, and then Michkov is still available at number 6 or 7. Do you think they try to trade up a 9 or a
No,
10 to get no?
because they have the chance to get him 4 and 5.
No, I know, but if let's say they instead of that uh they
It's
wanted to
because the
go
talent
well,
of Miskov is
they
better
want
to
Carlson.
anybody there. So why to go down to give an asset or something in return when you can get him right away at 4 and 5?
Where do you think Carlson will go?
Carlson? Carlson, right now, I put him number 2.
And where would you put Fantilli?
Fantilli, if Michkov go down, I would set number 3 right now.
Number 3.
Yeah. You have everything. He's a big center, 6'3".
Big boy.
You know what I mean? Like the all everything is there for him. And yes, he's not playing in CA. Yes, it's not easy beginning, but no worry about that. You have 1 point per game at most over there, so it's not like he have a bad year. It's not like he's not. He's, you know what I mean? Like he don't. It's just like it remind me of Connor Bedard, Shane Wright. Remember those guys when they came the first year with Team Canada? They all played third line.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just the normal thing about them. It's what is complicated is number 5. Now, if all the star all together and everything happening, I don't know how, but Montreal Canadiens could pick 2 times at the top 4.
Oh yeah, that would be ideal.
Right? So if
That would
example they
solve a
get
lot of
2 and
problems.
3, they can get Carlson and they can get Fantilli. They could get Bedard and they could get Mishkov. And they can win with Panthers draft pick, number 1, or number 2. I would say they get Carlson. And now number 6, they can get maybe Michkov.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
everybody talk about how long it would
like
take
winning
for
the lottery
Montreal Canadiens.
years in a
You know
row.
what? The draft at 23 can tell you a little bit more how long it would take Montreal to rebuild.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So, Nicolas, have a good night, buddy. A lot of teams are willing to give up some skill to less skill, bigger skater. I'm not a fan of choice based on size. No. Now you have Andrew Caskill, really interesting pick. Andrew Caskill starts from 33 to 28 to 20, 15. And now people think to maybe him at top 10, 5'10", 165. He's a bit like Coolish or the kid for WHL last season, a little bit Mathieu Savoie, a little bit more explosive, but same skill, shifty as Castile.
Is he playing in the with Kelowna?
He played which WHL? Yeah, I think so. He does.
I think it's Kelowna. Yeah.
So the key behind him is okay. What we do with him? Montreal should not touch him. Why? Because he's another small player. We have enough small player. They have to looking for the winger or a defenseman. That would be my 2 criteria, and they have to get bigger. Now you can send center. Yes, I agree with you, but I'm not going to touch any winger small that draft at least for the first top 10. The Divoski could be a good asset.
Yeah.
Edward Sal is a Czechia, very good. I'm not worried about, you know what I mean? It's a Stramel is another one. But again, we'll see how it's going to develop. We still have a lot of hockey guys from today until July on ice, and after that off ice, interview, everything like that. The Devils,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Tap,
think
just scored 3-0.
if they get a high pick, coach, I think they're definitely looking at either Fantilli or Carlson. If they could pick up one of those two, there's some skill and size there, um, and I think it solidifies the middle of the ice for them.
Yeah, could be
And
that.
then the
Could be
second pick,
Doc could make a little bit the decision about this too. That would be another thing about this. Nicolas, non, il n'y a pas
absolutely.
assez de parties ce soir, Nicolas, pour faire une partie ce soir. King, how will you rank the quality of the goaltend prospect in the NHL draft? They are very good. Now, they are not
Not
top
bad.
15. They are not Askarov. They are not Carter Hart. They are not Vasilevsky. But they could become a Darcy Quamper. They can become, again, your development, you never know, Mr. Tap, right? But they are right now
Yeah.
at the end of the first round. I'm talking about two solid goaltender. Now, you have a lot of goaltender guys at the top 35. I'm talking about 4 or 5. It's not on the
I
young.
think
So we weather. Sorry, with the grab. That would be possible.
I think
It's,
yeah, I was gonna say I think we'll see maybe somebody reaching for a goalie early in the second round. I don't see anything in the first round.
I would not be. I would not be surprised someone pick up a goaltender or two at the first round. A kid like Vrabel, really a big 6'6", a 6'6", and at that
Yeah.
one, it could have. I would not be. I don't say
Bjornsson
they
as
will,
well.
but I wouldn't be surprised someone pick up a goalie at that 28, 20 from 25. Remember, Jake Ottinger was a 26 overall pick or 25th overall pick. So that's the kind of player. Now, yeah, Bargent Nansen for the WHL is under goaltender. Could be a top 40. Montreal, if they pick top at the end of the first round or a second pick at the top 10 of the second round, like a 39, a 49, 40, I wouldn't be surprised Montreal pick another goalie. So if you have if you have an extra pick at the top, because they
Yeah.
finished 6th, that will give them 28, 38 and the draft pick, right? So the 38 and they get another one, 30 or 22, 33, whatever it is, they will select a goalie for sure at the top 4 picks.
Yeah, for sure.
THG just knocked the door. Thanks so much. I'm watching all my favorite players. Richard, how do I feel? Awesome. About this one, 0-0 Edmonton. Shark are on the power play, by the way, at the beginning of this period. So, yeah. So, it's a lot of, we have to wait. And I wish we're already at the lottery, but we're not there yet, Mr. Tap. So what we do here, we want the Montreal lose, we want the Panthers lose, and more deeper they go, better it is at the end for the Montreal Canadiens. But again, you can finish the season number 6 and number 9, and you can drop number 8 and you can drop number 11, Mr. Tap, or you can go all the way up. Make sense?
That would be the worst. Yeah, that would be the worst situation. You endure all this and then you lose spots. But hopefully that's not the case.
When you think about losing 2 spots, it's not the end of the world if you are after 5. What it would be worse, any team are top 4 and they get out of the top 4, like 4, 6, 4, 5, 3, 5. This is really an uppercut because now you go from a great pick like a super-aided player versus a lower behind. Does it make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. You're right.
Yep. Adam Stone out weeks. Yeah, we talk about this tonight. About this, I will not give him a rid of him. I will keep him. I think he played an important, great asset, Adam, for the Vegas Golden Knight. The key for him is to be sure he's ready or he's healthy for the playoff. That's the kind of player you need. Not many players in the NHL like Mike Stone, in my eyes, can play as a winger and he can play on the two ways. I don't see many of them can play. Part of the injuries, obviously, there are a lot of injuries in Vegas, but they're hanging there. Great W last night. They come back again at Florida Panthers, Mr. Zap, and they burned a 5-3, and Florida Panthers could hammer them right there, and they missed that. That's what Florida don't have this year, Mr. Notap, that kind of hammer. And the power play struggle too over there.
Yeah.
So
that is a problem. Yeah.
Yep, that's happening about this one over there. So we all, don't forget, guys, click on the like. That'd be great. Mr. Nzava, we're going to bring you to the quiz tonight. If you don't know that, you're going to be a part of the show tonight.
And I thought it was over.
We're going to give, it's a very quick, so we're not going to invite anybody. We're going to go straight to the quiz, Mr. Notap. So we're going to get my note about the people, go to the participation about the quiz. We want to thank everybody. Thanks for being joining us. We're going to go to the quiz and who can beat in our tap. I'm in negotiation, not really, but I'm talking with Liam McGuire, Mr. Notap, to bring Liam to us one night. So it would be fun to bring Liam talking about this. Yeah. So Yann Genet, welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us. Don't forget to click on the like. That'd be great. And that'd be awesome. Mr. Notap, are you ready?
I think so.
Which team has the most goal game with 6 goals et plus this season in NHL, Mr. Notap? The Buffalo Sabres, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the New York Rangers, the Edmonton Oilers, or the Dallas Stars? Pierre-Martin knocked the door. Welcome aboard. Merci, Nicolas. So, will be this question, Mr. Notap. Which team has the most game with the 6 goals et plus in NHL this year? We have Chicago said the Oilers. Thanks so much for Chicago. Interesting. If we have more answer, RJ got with B with the leave. Thank you so much, RJ. I appreciate that. 2 people participate. Yann go with A. Thanks so much. Then Jeffrey go with the star. Thanks so much for that one. We have we hit all the letters, Mr. Notap. So at least someone is going to win that one, Mr. Notap. John Didier from Colorado is back in the house, Mr. Notap. William Snyder, thank you. KLS B came with A. Mr. Notap, you are on the spot.
I mean, the first one, the team that hops to my mind is the Sabres, because of, they're the leading scorers in the NHL. But we're talking about 6 goals or more in a particular game. And I don't know if they've done that often, but goodness.
Thank you, Pierre Martin.
It just seems too obvious, but I'll go with A. But I think it's the wrong answer.
In our top, go with A. All right. The answer this is in our top is oh my God! It's the Buffalo Sabres with A. You got it on that one over there. All the description was closed. Yann Genet. And we have John Didier with King and in our top take the lead, Mr. Notap. After one question, great job, everybody. Question number 2, Mr. Notap. And the last 10 game, how many points for Travis Konechny in NHL? 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. How many points Travis Konechny has in the last 10 game?
Wow.
Chicago with B16. Thanks so much, Mr. Chicago. One of them. We have RJ. Thanks so much. Go with D. Thanks so much, RJ. Yann Genet, Nicolas, and Caleb's. Thanks so much. We have ACC. Go with my first thought. William Snyder with B. King go with D. Thanks so much, everybody. Do we have any other people? Mr. Notap, the clock is up. And we get you right there. And we have John participate. Said B. Thanks so much, John. About that, Mr. Notap. Maybe take the lead.
I just remember the last two games. I know he's got about 5 points in the last two games. So I'm just going to do some quick math here. Multiply it by 5, 10. Let me go with C, 18.
C, 18, Mr. Natap. If you have a second option, what it will be?
It would have been D, 20.
Oh my God!
It was D, Mr. Natap, 20. I think he has 8 goals, 12 assists for that one. But we have a Pierre Martin and RJ score. But King of Gamer take the lead with 2 good answers on that one, with following by John and then Yann Gionet. And so all of you have 1 point. So let's move on. Number 3.
Dun, 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 dun. I should have done my math a bit more properly.
Yeah. Maurice Zetter had 4 assists in the 1 game this week. How many in this century defensemen did it for the Red Wings, Mr. Natap? Since 2000, how many defensemen in the Red Wings did it? 4 assists in 1 game. 1 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, or 5 of them?
In this century? Okay.
The century.
Yeah,
That's 23 years.
Yeah. 4 assists in 1 game.
RJ, go with C. Colin Pascal. Let's go, others. Colin, welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us. Nicolas, go with C. Thank you. Chicago, go with C. So far, everybody go with C, Mr. Natap. John, go with E. And then King of Gamer, go with E. Here we go. The clock is up, Mr. Natap. And then we have KLS, go with C. My God, Conrad, welcome back, Conrad, go with E. And we have Mr. William Snyder with D. So what would be your answer, Mr. Natap?
I'm going to go with C as well. 3.
Go with C. Pierre Martin, go with D. All right. Thanks so much. I think we got everybody here. Mr. Natap, your second option.
D, 4.
Oh my God!
You're absolutely right, Mr. Natap. D. Oh. Hey, Mr. Natap, we'll call him. We'll go to show your name for Mr. Second option.
Yeah. Second option. Mr. Second option.
Question number 4. Which goalie has the most point in NHL, Mr. Natap, history? Most point. Patrick Roy, Martin Brodeur, Grant Fuhr, Tom Barrasso, and Ed Belford. Good luck, everybody. Who has the most point in NHL? Here we go. We're going to wait the people so far. We have 2 lead. King and Pierre Martin lead by 2. Chicago with E. Ed Belford, number 20. Yeah. Then we have Rob and Yann go with B, Mr. Natap. They go with Martin Brodeur. John go with Ed Belford. And RJ go with Grant Fuhr. So far, so good. Keep partying. And Pierre Martin go with Ed Belford. William Snyder go with B. Caleb with B. Martin Brodeur. That's great. And that's what we got so far. Here we go. King and Nicolas go with D. Thank you. And then William go with B. Thanks so much, William, about that one over there. And then Jeffrey go with Fuhr. Thanks so much. Mr. Natap, the clock is up.
I think this is an easy one, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Tom Barrasso.
Tom Barrasso, Mr. Natap.
Oh my God!
It was an easy one. Tom Barrasso got that one over there. Congratulations, Mr. Natap. Take the lead. That score for 2. But the King of Gamer take the lead at 3 on that one over there. And so congratulations, King. We have one more thing to go. And then Mr. William Snyder, Nicolas Gobi Bono, Pierre Martin, and Natap. Pierre Martin is at 2. on this one. And then we have another one, the D, King of Gamer, yeah, and Nicola. So that's the one to get so far. Last question of the night, Mr. Notap. Tie the game.
Or not.
Here we go. Which goalie has the best save percentage from this list with a minimum of 400 games in NHL? Tim Thomas, Corey Grafford, Picarini, Corey Schneider, and Connor Hellebuck. This is a quiz one. This is a question like you cannot read my tank, my top, because you can say, oh, he can go with the best goalie, or he can say, no, he can go with the worst. So I knew it's going to be a really difficult question.
The best from the list with a minimum of 400 games. Oh, boy.
And Chicago go with Corey Crawford. Only okay. A guy met foot was Tom Merrick. Jan go with D. Corey Schneider. Nicolas go with C. John Taylor go with Hellebuck. We have Conrad go with D. RJ go with A. Jeffrey go with nice one. William Snyder go with C. We wait for King during the time. King go with A. And then we have Chicago Bear. We need some Ox question. Mr. Nartap, you are on the...
Yeah, King put me over a barrel here because my answer is A, but I was hoping he'd go with something else. I think it is Tim Thomas.
Pierre Martin go with Tim Thomas, and then will be the answer. This one, my God. Yes, Mr. Nartap, it was a great push for you, but... the winner of that one, it was Tim Thomas. And then King of Gamer got 4 good answers tonight, Mr. Notap, to win the contest over you by 3 good answers. You're number 2 on that one. Congratulations, both of you. So, Mr. King is the winner of this one. Congratulations for all both of you. King. Great job, everybody, of the participation of the night. And we have to great Mr. King of Gamer, the winner of the night. That's concluded, Mr. Natap. And the Oilers take the lead 1-0, Mr. Natap. Who do you believe scored goal for the Oilers?
McDavid?
Yeah, absolutely right.
All right. I have him in my pool.
36 of the year, Mr. Natap, about that one over there. So, very quiet night, Mr. I'm shocking about this. We do not get a lot of people tonight. I don't know what's happening, but... That's what it is.
They're all out partying. They're all on the party bus, I think.
I don't know. It would be interesting to see that. But we'll be back tomorrow for the Montreal Canadiens, 7 o'clock for Eastern Time to do the game play-by-play. We'll be back together Monday night, Mr. Natap. And everybody have to select the prediction of your Super Bowl for this year. So from tonight until next Monday, the last call for your Super Bowl, you predict the winner of the Super Bowl, and the winner win a free and a free pass gel.
Get out of jail free.
Get out of that one over there. Pierre Martin said, not too bad for the 3 versus 5. That'd be great about this one over there. Now, I want to finish with this one over there. Have a good night, Nicola. For all the people, guys, on the members of the Hockey Nation Live Show, if you're a member, you have to send an email. What is the email, Mr. Natap? I'm not there anymore. So, do you remember the email?
HN.
All right. Hold on. HNL.
I don't remember.
HNLS warm-up show. Right?
Warm-up show. Yeah.
Right? gmail.com. Here we go. Guys, this is the email. You have to send it to us here. I will tell you why. Because if you want to get a free gift for the Hockey Nation Live Show, if you're a member, I will give it to you. It's a free Draft Pro second halfway of the season. So we can produce about $19.99 you gift, and I have a permission to sharing that. So you can send it to me, and an email. We're going to reply to you. We're going to send us. This is about 120 page, and they talk about each players on the top 100, the 2024 and 2025. So It's a great a gift. You can get it. I think, Mr. Tab, you got it for me a little bit
It
earlier.
was amazing.
And if you are the only way you can get it, right? You have to be a member. The members per month guy is $199. So we want to give advantage that people get it. It's not like why not me? But I was just sharing with you about this. So if you want to get the Draft Pro guide for the first half of the 2023 of the Prospect NHL, just send us an email. We're going to reply to you, and we're going to send it to you. So that'll be concluded. This, Mr. Top, what's the plan for the weekend?
It's an excellent. Oh, just getting caught up on a lot of work at home and out with the family on the weekend. So watching a lot of hockey too. And football. Don't forget football.
Football starting this weekend. Playoff about this for sure. King of Gamer asked this question. I think we talked about him earlier, but Vincent Rover condition is good. We don't know good it is, but he's out of the. He was removed or released for the hospital, so that's a good thing about this. But again, it's going to be a long time recovery. No date set by the team when he's going to be come back, but don't expect him possible. It's sad because the team of Ottawa was very good. He was the number one center for that team, but we wish the best for him for sure, everybody. So good football, everybody. Thanks so much, everybody, to be a part of the show. We're missing a tap. Another great delivery, great performance of you tonight. No hot seat, just a good question for you. And you predict. By the way, Mr. Natap, you have a chance. Go back to the Atlantic where Kenny said to you, remember all the questions we answer at the beginning of this year with you and me? About who's going to fire to be coach, everything like that.
Yeah, didn't we do that with Marco and Michael as well?
Maybe, and that. Anyhow, remember so the Atlantic did it, and they showed where we at the end of the season. So you have a chance to watching that. Okay. So, example, if you took Kaprizov, no 5-minute case misconduct, you out of the question. Kaprizov got a 5-minute misconduct.
I don't remember now.
But it's all right. No big deal. It's all right. You remember, you are walking like a date expiration every 2 weeks. Everything happened before 2 weeks ago. It's over in your life. You always go and forward 2 weeks.
I have to make room for new information.
Yeah, it's like you delete your cookies every 2 weeks, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Amazing.
One more time.
And remember,
right there,
you have greatness inside of you.
It's not about the number, Mr. Tap. It's about the quality of what we got every single night here in the chat. And we want to thank all the moderators, of course, the co-hosts tonight, Mr. Tap. Until the next time, be well, be healthy, find a way not only dominate your day, find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. Tap?
You're 2023.
He did it again. Have a great night, Mr. Tap.
Good night, Hockey Nation. Good night, Coach. Have a great weekend.
Thanks so much, my friend. Have a good night, everybody. Oh. Booyah!